The problem is not that we don't have skilled labor for that in India. The problem is that an entire process know-how has never been built by Indian companies in India. That is the problem. And China's rightfully flexing their muscle and saying, if you want to own this manufacturing, you better own the tech also. You better have the process know-how. I'm not going to give this to you free of cost. Very tough, but it kind of makes sense, right? I don't think we should shy away from it. I don't think we should be scared. Oh, bhai, ye hai to fir band kar do. Nahi karne ka point nahi. No, take that damn leap. It's not so hard. They've already made it. Enough people know it, maybe in parts. Add it all up. Stay the course.
Welcome to The Gist on Strat News Global. I am Surya Gangadharan. We are going to talk about electric two-wheelers today, and I have with me Tarun Mehta, co-founder and CEO of Ather, the two-wheeler company, electric company based in Bangalore. Tarun, welcome.
Thank you.
My first question, what's the state of the electric two-wheeler industry today?
So our industry has come a long way in the last few years. It started first in around 2006, 2007 with a whole bunch of Chinese imports landing up on our shores. They didn't really work out because our performance and quality expectations were very different. And that was the time when we started Ather around 2013. Our view was that there is an opportunity to develop the technology from scratch and build a different kind of vehicle for the Indian customer. We launched that in 2018, and I would say around 2020 or 2021, the industry really started seeing a massive upswing. From 2021 to 2023 or 2024, the industry grew almost, I think, like 4 or 5 times, solid 50-60% CAGR or even better. Lot of government support. I think first from just an overall PR perspective, government lending a lot of positive credibility to the sector, and then the right kind of policies like PME drives and FAME 1, FAME 2, so on and forth. Today our industry is matured a fair bit. The industry is selling about 1 lakh units every month, largely all scooters, and is still at an early stage, but has found a solid footing today.
Where do you see the Indian two-wheeler industry in terms of the electric industry, in terms of policy and technology?
So I think on the policy, this is one of those few places that I've seen very happily to have had consistent direction. We've not had a change of thought process. It's not like today electric is nice, maybe electric is not nice. I think while the quantum of support has varied, which it obviously will, but the direction always has been positive. And that has really helped us all invest and create the technology and the products. I think on the demand side, we've done fantastically well. We've gotten enough customers excited. Today, the vast majority of scooter buyers are considering electric when they go into the purchase cycle. And almost 20% of them are actually buying electric, even though electric is not even sold everywhere. I think it's the supply side where policies are can do more. On the supply side, we have had a very strong policy, something like PLI. But PLI is being geared in a more traditional lens extremely towards manufacturing, which really is not the problem if you think about it, because two-wheeler manufacturing in India is actually very strong. PLI in this case actually should have solved also for technology players, because this entire industry needs a whole bunch of homegrown technology. So PLI today is not been able to solve for startups really well. Startups like ourselves can't even apply for PLI.
I see.
Yes.
My goodness.
Despite being one of the largest sources of IP creation and one of the largest producers of electric two-wheelers. And I think it's on that side that policy can do even better. And if it, after fantastic track record on demand side, if this side also does fantastically well, I think our industry will go a long way.
So PLI, and I understand, is being phased out next year.
No, it's there till 2028, maybe even 2029.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there for another 3-4 years.
So enough time for you to apply for those things, or?
We want to, because we are, companies like ourselves are doing all the capex that PLI wants us to do. In fact, more than that, we run one of the largest R&D shops anywhere in the world. We have been the pioneers for almost all technology. And I think having PLI will allow us to put some of the last pieces in play. Today, companies, startups like ourselves can't operate in the entry level budget segments because PLI puts a 13% disability on us.
I see.
Like this 13% PLI that we don't get, and our legacy competitors who are not even that interested to do electric are getting. So we almost have to wait out the PLI window to really start expanding our portfolio. And the second thing is exports. We want to export, but we don't get PLI on exports because there is no PLI for us.
Yeah.
So I think on both these fronts, we could do so much more if the policy were to have a little bit of a equal footing for all players, especially startups.
So when we come to technology,
Yeah.
you were mentioning earlier that we have built up a substantial stack on our own.
Yeah.
When you look at every Indian scooter company, you know, whether it's Bajaj, which is tied with Kawasaki, whether it's Hero, Honda, and so on, everything has come from outside, mostly from Japan. You say that in terms of electric vehicles, that's different?
It's the full opposite. I see with the internal combustion engine, India was obviously not developed when the technology stack was coming up.
Yeah.
So we had to rely on a friendly country like Japan at that point to have Kawasaki, Bajaj, TVS, Suzuki, Hero, Honda. That was the right approach back then. Also, the technology had kind of more or less matured by the end of the last century. But the electric, as it turned out, there is no company globally that's really investing in it. So when we came up, for example, we realized that most of the IP, even the standards, testing standard, charging standard, we'll have to write them on our own. End result, fast forward a decade, today it has filed just under, I think, about 500 patents. We're filing almost a few hundred patents every year today. I think that will make us one of the most prolific IP creators, at least in our industry, if not at the India level. And that's not just about us, even our peers. Today, the Indian e-two-wheeler market is hands-on the most sophisticated and advanced market in the world. I'm not just saying from a manufacturing perspective, that we are still scaling up. There's like a 10x upside, 20x upside available. But on the technology stack side, we truly are quite Atmanirbhar on the e-two-wheeler and the light electric vehicle industry, I would say, 2 and 3 wheelers. I'll club them all together. And again, I'm saying for our industry, including my competitors, I think all of us, maybe driven by startups like ourselves, but eventually all of us have now gotten into this game. We've got to invest in tech, we've got to invest in IP, we've got to invest in R&D, which is very rare. India leading an industry by leading on tech first is very rare. And the upside here is the global two-wheeler industry has largely seen 3 players, China, Japan, and a little bit of India.
Yeah.
China's not interested in electric two-wheelers as much now, because they want to build public transport and cars. Japan does not really believe in electric. So if we do a good job with electric two-wheelers, and the future is electric, pretty obviously so, I think we stand to dominate an extremely large industry, something which is probably bigger than $100 billion exports. So I think this is a remarkable opportunity for us.
Given the unfolding market for two-wheelers, electric two-wheelers, would you see the Chinese revising their game because they also have big players?
So the Chinese, this is my understanding, having followed them and having read about them for a long time. The China state government wrote their EV two-wheeler strategy maybe in the 80s or the 90s, somewhere around then. And they've been quietly investing towards it over the years. Their initial attempt was to scale up production. And they did that by force creating demand and supply. And to do that, they standardized everything. But in the process, they commoditized every single OEM. And when products are commoditized, their margins are commoditized. And when your margins are competed away, you're left with no money for actually doing any R&D. And what happened after a decade of that, China got the volumes that it wanted, but it lost the ability to really innovate on that entire segment. And I believe that China learned the lesson out of it. So when they started focusing on cars and trucks, they did the full polar opposite. Today, BYD has more R&D engineers than the global automotive industry put together. One single company. They have, I think, about 1 lakh engineers. It's crazy. So I think for them, China, this sport has probably sailed. They see a much larger opportunity and they're already the leaders in cars. So now to come back to two-wheelers, it's like creation of a complete new sector from scratch. May not be really worth it for them.
So we hope.
I think we have, and also we are leaders today. So China would be trying to play a catch-up game, which they don't need to play in so many other forms. I think it's far more valuable for India to invest on things that it has a lead on, instead of always playing a catch-up game with others realizing we don't even have the money to play catch up with them and sort of, losing the plot midway. In two-wheelers, we are absolutely the leaders. We should maintain this lead forever.
So, when it comes to electric two-wheelers, who are the big guns in India?
The top five manufacturers today are TVS, us, Bajaj, Hero MotoCorp, and Ola. They are five players, and between us, I think we have like 88% of the industry. So in that sense, it's a bit consolidated.
And they all have been doing a lot of their own R&D?
I think everybody's been forced to do their own R&D because there is no opportunity to buy any technology or do any licensing. That window does not exist. The kind of products that Ather built first in 2018, it was basically not a copyable product. Like, it was basically not the product that you could borrow for. So you had to match it by building for it, which has created this entire cycle. So I would say, I think our entire industry has done a pretty good job on doing independent R&D. For us, that's a strong strength. So we probably might have done more than others. But I would say our entire industry has done a lot.
So, would you care to give us a deadline as to the breakout point when we, boom, hit the world with the electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers?
I think the next 2-3 years are going to be some amazing exponential growth in the Indian market first. Today, almost 1 in 5 scooters sold, 20% of all scooters sold has become electric. And I think it's getting to a point of basically no return for at least the scooter market, which is just under 40% of the entire two-wheeler market in India. And I think the next 2-3 years, all of us are going to be heads down, focused on just servicing the super fast expanding Indian electric scooter market. I think after which, and all of us are experimenting with a few exports. Like, we are today present in, I think, with like 30-40 showrooms in Nepal and Sri Lanka now. And we are testing other countries. So are our peers. I think exports will become an extremely large opportunity over the next 5 years. Because most countries are where India was in 2018, 2019, which is trying to put together their first strategy documents and starting to conclude, their bureaucracy and the political class is starting to conclude that, by God, we need to be independent. We need to have renewable energy and electric vehicles promoted together. Otherwise, we are forever beholden not just for tech and products and manufacturing, but also for the damn fuel. Like, it's just too many things to be dependent on, like OPEX and CAPEX. Put it I'm dependent on. So I think most countries are starting to conclude that, which means over the next 5 years, they will become really, really receptive markets. And India is just going to be absolutely the largest player in town. So our ability to export quality vehicles is just going to be very sky high.
So I want to get into a little bit of geopolitics here. This dependence on China for permanent ring magnets and rare earths and all that stuff. How does it impact you guys?
Two aspects of it. First, obviously it does impact us because most companies have built their motors using some form of rare earth magnets. The good news is, most of us and most of our products can be built with different kind of rare earth magnets, ones that are not under export ban by China, and ones that China does not have the kind of stranglehold control that it does on what it has banned today. So that's what's happening in the near term. We're all moving our products to a different kind of magnet technology, where while China is still the large producer, but it's not the only producer in town, and hence it does not have that kind of leverage. But the second good thing that's happening, and I'm actually quite glad that this entire showdowns happened today, because while our industry is hands on the largest industry that needs rare earth magnets, our country needs rare earth magnets. It's obvious, like from defense to a multitude of other applications. The problem is all those applications are really small. So it was always going to be very difficult for a rare earth magnet mining, refining industry
to justify that,
to pop up for, that small volume. But when the EV market needs it, with those lakhs of products and millions of products made every month, certainly there's a massive upstream incentive. Okay, like, if you guys are willing, can I supply those magnets for you from India? So I know the government actually has been pushing for this. People think the government is pushing now, but I know that for the last year or two, government has been pushing, encouraging people to get into rare earths. Well, now, damn, there is a very good financial incentive, because ultimately in our vehicle, 100-200 रुपए का magnet है. ऐसा नहीं है कि 10,000 रुपए का magnet है. So if you have to pay a 20-40 rupee premium to get that magnet here in India instead of going to China or Malaysia, we would. And now that we've seen this crisis unfold, that obviously would be the preferred path. So I think the good thing out of this entire crisis is that EV industry will provide the incentive for a rare earth in the rare earth metal magnet industry to pop up in India, and that's very valuable long term.
But we have those rare earths?
We do have rare earths. We don't have heavy rare earths from what I understand, but I think we at least have rare earths, and I think let's at least get those going. Yeah.
So the current kind of embargo, if you want to call it that, which the Chinese have imposed, it doesn't really hit you guys.
It does, it does. It's just that I think I'm glad that we have the engineering and the R&D muscle to be able to respond to that and change our rotor, motor, and entire powertrain over a course of literally a few months to shift to a different kind of magnet technology completely. This, if you were dependent on somebody else, like if you had to go to a Suzuki or a Honda and request their management, can you provide us new motors? I think this would have been a 2-year path and we would have been pretty screwed. But the fact that all that engineering exists in India, most of us, you will have a few months ka timeline here and there depending on the player, can find an alternate very quickly. So it does, but a manageable hit.
So what about batteries, charging infrastructure?
Charging infrastructure, almost completely indigenous. Ather today runs the largest fast charging network in India. We have 4,000 plus fast chargers.
All over the south?
All over the country. Large part of it in south because we are very strong in south.
Yeah.
But we're rapidly expanding. Like NCR has, I think, like almost 200 fast chargers by Ather. Mumbai Metropolitan Region has 200. So on charging infrastructure, we've already come a long way, and that's indigenous tech. Batteries, given again the upcoming size of our industry, there is going to be there's going to be increasingly enough incentive for players like Exide, Amaraja, Reliance, JSW, Tata's to get into cell manufacturing, which is already happening as I speak.
Yeah.
All of this is public.
Yeah.
So it's a myth that China has a stranglehold on the IP here. Yes, China is good at it, but that's because they've been running this for a long time.
Yeah.
There's no magical IP that no other country has. In fact, on something like LFP, there's very little IP that actually exists. It's just that China is good at it. As our EV industry volumes go up, you will see higher and higher incentives for people to produce the cells also here. The rest of it is already indigenized. I think there the government really did a very good job with phased manufacturing plan, which was part of the requirements of the demand incentives over the last 5 years. It gradually moved all manufacturing and indigenized most of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe. Rims, frame members, tires, everything used to be imported. Today, none of that is imported. So we've come a long way there.
Looking ahead, the government has talked about an energy mix in India's transport sector, electric coexisting with hydrogen and so on and so forth. How does that pan out for you guys?
I won't claim to fully understand it. I do have a limited, narrow view of my industry. I believe in two-wheelers, you can't afford multiple paths being prioritized equally. And luckily, that is not the case, nor is the industry confusing itself. Yes, there is CNG, but outside of that one additional option, we are not inundated by a multitude of options today. But when I look at the larger auto sector, to me, it seems like a little bit of a khichdi, because we are pulling ourselves in multiple directions to support LNG, CNG, petrol, electric, hybrid, hydrogen. My worry is, and please take it with a big pinch of salt, because I can't match the breadth of information that the government has. Do we really have the ability to support so many technology developments in parallel? We may not have, and what that will mean is we will end up supporting different technologies, but we will not be able to invest behind any technology. So we'll then end up basically becoming a market that allows different technologies made elsewhere.
To be,
right? Hydrogen भी कहीं और से बन के यहाँ पे आएगा, hydrogen का इंजन कोई और बनाएगा, उसका वो catalyst technology कहीं और से बनेगा. India में there will be companies that will use it, which is okay, but I think it's a very precarious position. I think it's far better because we don't have infinite resources like let's say US or even China in some cases. We have to really focus where we fire our bullets on, and in some cases really make sure कि भाई ये हमारा है. This we have invested not just to be a large market for, but this we have invested to also own the damn tech behind it. And the faster we mature ourselves from just being an important market and maybe a manufacturer and assembler to also owning the tech, the lesser the risk that we will carry in our supply chains.
There was this report about the Chinese pulling out 300 workers, engineers, some of the Foxconn and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So in terms of labor, skilled labor and all, how do we look?
Actually, it's misunderstood as a problem of skilled labor. This is, once again, I'll sound like a broken record in this recording. It's a problem of who owns the tech, our process know-how. The problem is not that we don't have skilled labor for that in India. The problem is that the entire process know-how has never been built by Indian companies in India. That is the problem. And China's rightfully flexing their muscle and saying, if you want to own this manufacturing, you better own the tech also. You better have the process know-how. I'm not going to give this to you free of cost. Very tough, but it kind of makes sense, right? I don't think we should shy away from it. I don't think we should be scared. Oh, bhai, ye hai to fir band kar do. Nahi karne ka point nahi. No, take that damn leap. It's not so hard. They've already made it. Enough people know it, maybe in parts. Add it all up. Stay the course. Semiconductor manufacturing, itana crazy technology nahi hai ki samajh hi nahi aayega, right? Stay the path. In 1 year, we will catch up. Maybe if we had that manpower from China, we would have caught up in 3 months. Maybe it will now take a year. Okay, let's stay the path. So the end of it, that industry that we hope to manufacture here does happen. Because this is inevitable. We'll have to go through that pain at some point in our life. We can't skip that pain. No country, like China flexes its muscle more explicitly by saying मैं लोग हटा लूँगा. US will put some soft sort of embargo and never actually talk about the tech and never give it to us. The answer out of all of this is always you will have to go and take that pain once in your life if you want to be truly independent and if you want to be able to flex your muscles. So I don't think this is a problem of skilled manpower. Like, I think we can find those. We have enough ideas, we have enough engineering colleges. I think we can find manpower which can be trained into those things. Those are not like some magical unicorns who can't be trained in India. No chance. They're regular good folks. They've just been trained into a skill for 6 months, 1 year. We just don't know what to teach them. That's the problem. And we'll know what to teach them when we decide to embrace the path of R&D and tech ownership. That was my, going back to the starting, that was my problem with PLI. I think PLI needs to think from not just perspective of how can I incentivize manufacturing. Yes, but incentivize manufacturing for players who are going to own the tech. You need players like Ather who will say, यार ये tech भी हमारा है. This is not like किसी और का tech की कल अगर वीज़ा उन्होंने बैन कर दिया तो capacity तो लगा दी, अब करूँ क्या मैं इसका. We need to embrace more and more of that. Obviously, it's not a binary path, but more and more of that on that scale.
We talked about batteries earlier. There's this whole talk about solid state and sodium batteries, and the Chinese have come out with some miracle battery that charges for 3,000 hours or something. I mean, what's this situation here?
Funny story. There is China's very good with LFP batteries, which can really last to 10,000 cycles. And
that's lithium batteries.
That's a kind of lithium battery. The funny thing is, China actually never came up with it. It was an American company, A123 Technologies, which used to be the gold standard. America lost the plot. That company went bankrupt, and now the American folks were willing to buy it. There was an Indian company, I won't name them, which was desperately trying to buy it. But Chinese swooped in first and maybe bought it for like $50 million or like some throwaway price. But the thing I want to highlight here is Chinese went after not buying the factories. They bought the tech, brought it in-house, and then invested for 10 years in creating an entire ecosystem behind
around
it.
That.
Right? From the cathode to the anodes to the separators to then the cell manufacturing and then the pack manufacturing. And then they supported players who would use that tech like BYD. And the entire ecosystem popped up. We need to do more of this. Secondly, we have to acknowledge and embrace the fact that tech is now on an ever-changing path. In the auto sector for sure. Most sectors actually, as we can see. Nothing is remaining stationary. We need to know how to sort of deal with changes rapidly. Lithium ion is good and will hopefully last another 5-7 years. But I'll be surprised if in 7 years it is not disrupted by anything. I don't know if it is sodium ion or solid state or something else. Obviously disruption aayega. We need to learn how to, as an industry and then as a nation, be constantly comfortable with the concept कि हर 5-7 साल में पूरा disruption आने वाला है. We can't be like कहीं से एक licensing deal हो गई है, next 20 साल sorted है, अब आप relax करो. वो होने नहीं वाला है, मिलेगा नहीं अब आपको.
So you're telling me that's the future?
That is the future. Look at every industry. Auto used to be reasonably stationary. Right? Like Bluetooth आने में 5-5, 8-8 साल लग जाते थे. आजकल look at the pace of change. Look at our industry. Look at e-two-wheelers. Look at mobile phones. Look at smartphones. Look at TVs. Look at fridges. Look at consumer goods.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in construction tech. We've got to develop that muscle of how to be comfortable with changes. That is the one part, if I can talk always about, I'll keep talking about. Because in our lives, that's changing quite rapidly.
So last question, when you look at government policy and how
Yeah.
it is pushing electrics and all that,
Yeah.
is there, they have a vision for this? They are looking at something down the road?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I said. I think I'm so glad with how government's fundamentally gone about it, at least in our industry. Everywhere, MORTH, MHI, all the central ministries, I think they've thought, they've been a general consistency in alignment. Here, electric karna hai. And the way I have understood this, I think it's been a paired approach of green energy, whether it's solar or whatever, paired with the users of green energy, like electric vehicles. There's no point of just producing electricity if the usage is still dependent on petrol, right? You want to move the consumption also to electricity. As strange as it may sound, transportation is such a large part of energy usage, and all of it has been non-electric all this while.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think this has been a very consistent paired approach, and I think we have done very well on at least one part, which is the demand side. So well, that's already more than I could have hoped for. I can only keep pushing us to, putting my little voice to push us to continue on this path, because we now have the green shoots of actually all of that adding up to something very, very powerful, with us actually being the leaders in the sector. Today, the the charging standard that we have in India for two-wheelers, one of the charging standards, there are 2-3 of them, we actually have an Indian charging standard that's become a BIS standard. Now, that might sound obvious, but it's not obvious. We are not a country that's had Indian standards become Indian standards. We are a country that's always taken a Japanese standard or a European standard,
And made it so.
जहाँ पे IC का ठप्पा लगा हुआ है. We look at IC as like ऐसे आँखों में आंसू के साथ, and we like, yeah, वो लगा दो आप इंडिया में. In our industry, it's kudos to the amazing work by MHI, DST, BIS, and Indian charging standard is actually the Indian charging standard today. And imagine the power of it already. It's a standard that is getting exported. There are international players that are trying to adopt it because they don't have the market depth to create a standard of their own. We're an amazing place with what this industry could become.
So the future is looking good.
Hopefully.
Tarun Mehta, great talking to you. A lot of information and perspective there for us to chew on. Thanks very much for sparing time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Surya.
That's all we have for you on this edition of The Gist. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Thank you very much.